Today, I'm talking about whatever the case may be, which is episode 12. This is the second flashback episode we get for Kate. Uh, so, this episode, it's not the best episode we've gotten of the show. I don't think I would consider it the worst of season one. I feel like there might be a couple episodes in later on in season one that I'm not thinking of. We haven't exactly gotten into like the second half of season one just yet. Uh, and even if it is like the worst of season one, it's still a pretty solid episode. There were things that I liked about about this episode, and things that worked really well, which is mostly just kind of like things that the show is good at doing. Uh, and the show, I don't know, like this episode, it shows how the show is good at kind of connecting things, if that makes sense. Making sure all the characters might have like something to do or a role in an episode, or connecting as we go from character to character. Uh, for example, like you have this scene with Boone and Shannon where Boone calls Shannon useless, and you have these two characters interacting, and then it's balanced well with these characters separating. Then you have Boone and Locke, they're still doing their own thing, the mystery thing they've discovered, which we don't know yet, but we know is the hatch. That's still a mystery they're slowly building up towards later on in the season. And then Sayid and Shannon start interacting when she starts translating or attempting to translate the French papers, or the papers that Sayid got from Rousseau. And now the core of this episode is, of course, the Kate storyline involving the Halliburton case that has the guns in it, and it also has her little toy airplane from what's his name that she got killed. Uh, and I don't know, it's a little annoying. It's kind of like a little. It's a little bit of a frustrating storyline. I definitely feel for Jack here. Uh, like I can understand why she might not want to tell Sawyer any of this. Like I understand. Well, I don't think she really cares if Sawyer gets the guns. That was definitely something that she was using to get Jack to get the case from Sawyer. But she definitely doesn't want Sawyer to know about this personal thing to her that she cares about in the case. But I don't really understand why she can just be honest with Jack and tell Jack the truth. I guess it's just a character fault she's got to work through. But I mean, honestly, if she was just like a little bit more upfront, like also there's something personal of mine that he stuck in there, and that's really what I want back. If she had led up with that, I don't think Jack would like push it. I don't see Jack as being like, well, personal. How is this personal to you? Why, who I don't see Jack asking for elaboration earlier, because up until this point he hasn't you know pushed Kate for information about her past. Uh, I mean, not much, obviously, but you know, so like I can see how this is kind of frustrating for Jack, because she didn't need to like con him out of this. Like he definitely doesn't want Sawyer having the guns. That's something that he's gonna want. Jack's a control freak. That's something Jack's gonna naturally want to control anyway. So it wasn't a hard sell for Jack to get this case and try and open it up. Uh, something I just thought of first time when I was watching this. Kate should have had the foresight to grab that key off the marshal before he was buried, like just in case this briefcase turns up somewhere. I better grab that key off him before he gets buried, and I gotta dig him up to get him out. Like that's not wasn't the best planning or thinking in the world. But there's still stuff to like about this episode. There's a funny Hurley moment where he's laughing at Sawyer for trying to open up the case. Uh, and there is some really good stuff there. Like best part of this moment. I mean, best part of this episode is the moment towards the end with Charlie and Rose, where Charlie breaks down after everything that happens and asks Rose for help, and Rose ends up playing with him, praying for him. There always was some really good religious undertones throughout the show that never go too heavy handed, and this being one of them because Charlie is a religious character as well. I believe he was a choir boy that they mentioned at some point. I don't know if they. I don't think they mentioned that in his episode, but she does. Liam does call him choir boy, which you could maybe assume is just an insult to him, but I think it does reveal that he was a choir boy. What's the Is choir boy just a person who sings, or is what's like the I don't know. I don't remember all the terms, but anyway, I'm gonna move on. So that's a good moment, and the flashback is nothing special. I think the flashbacks for Kate this season, and I know the next flashback is specifically dealing with Kate and what's his name, where they meet up and he ends up dying accidentally. That's Born to Run. So they're all pretty essential, and then I think after these three episodes combined, uh, Tabula Rasa, whatever the case may be, Born to Run, all you really need to do is the episode What Kate Did. That's really all you have left to do is to establish that. Like, I Do, you don't need that flashback. You don't need the Cassidy flashback, even though I like that character. I like having that pre connection between Sawyer and she doesn't even realize it at this point. Uh, I'm trying to think of what episode she has in season two. Because she's got What Kate Did in season two, and she's got I Do is in season three. Huh, that's interesting. I'm losing balance. I'm gonna have to look into this. But yeah, overall, this was a fine episode. The Kate storyline is nothing special. I guess it's again after such an episode. There's patterns and formats to this, and after such a packed episode as the last episode, it's natural that you're gonna slow things down a little bit. There's always there's always a slower, almost filler episode before and after a climactic episode. And not even slower or filler, just kind of like settling. Honestly, it's still important plot stuff and character stuff. In introducing this dynamic between Saeed and Shannon that we're going to have going forward. Uh, but yeah, so up next is Hearts and Minds, which is Boone's flashback episode. I don't. I think they reveal the hatch in this episode, if I'm not mistaken. I'm like 95% positive. Like that's the best I can do at this point with anything is like 99% positive that what I know is right, even though, you know, 10 years ago I would have said I'm 100% positive. But yeah. So that's coming up next, and I will see you next time.